Alright, well today we are once again faced with a wall. Yay! Why is that, you may ask? Well, because I have this thing here. A giant Neopets playset that was actually unexpectedly cheap for being nearly 10 years old and being complete in the box. In fact, I actually paid half the price of this for some figures that I'll get into at the end of this. So needless to say, this costed about $30, which was a really, really good deal for how large it is. Now, one of the first things you may be asking is, if you're viewing this and didn't just search up Neopets, you're probably wondering what a Neopet is. In that case, it's a virtual pet website from like 2001 or so, and it still carries on to this day and is pretty much one of the only websites I actually still visit. So, yes, I am very much guilty of still playing Neopets. Basically, one big economic simulator. Alright, so this is actually something I've always wanted. See, when I was little, I used to love Neopets, and of course had some Neopets toys. Now, the one I did get of this is that there were two of these big play sets, actually. There was this Fairyland playset, which is this one here, then there was a Mystery Island playset. And this was the one I always wanted when I was little. I liked this one so much better. But I ended up getting the Mystery Island one because that was the only one I could find. So here's my Mystery Island playset here, which is noticeably in lesser condition than the Fairyland one, but just ignore that. So this right here is kind of a childhood dream of mine. I finally have it, and sure enough, only costed $30 to get it complete in box. And honestly, that kind of leads me to be glad that I can complete the set, and the one I had was actually the Mystery Island one, because the Mystery Island one can go upwards of like $60 new. This is the most popular one, but also the most common one, so kind of justifies the half price. So to kind of go and give a full round of it here, you guys can see the back of it and all. Very, very cool. You can pause if you want to read that. And interestingly, there was actually supposed to be a third playset. Currently, there were only two released. There was supposed to be a desert-themed playset, but we just got the Mystery Island and the Fairyland playsets, which is quite interesting. Now, I couldn't just get the playset. I also had to get some stuff to go with it. So for that, have these completely unopened figure packs, all fairy themed, of course. I believe there were 4 or 5 Fairyland figure packs released, and like 4 Mystery Island ones. They were pretty much released to coincide with the playsets. And if you go and look down a list, there were actually desert toys, which kind of further confirm that there was supposed to be a desert playset. Kind of interesting. Anyhow, I'm sure you're not watching this just to see me blabber on. You want to see me get into it, and oh boy, this is going to be so fun. Also ruining the value by opening it, but hey, I'm going to do my best to not damage the box or anything. Alright, already broke the top seal and we can get it out. This is so exciting. Some cardboard there. I believe this is from like 2008 or so. I'll have to turn it around to see a date on here. So this is probably 10 years old. First crack of the box, and you can kind of see what's in there. So how about we go ahead and just fast forward and get this thing out? How about it? Comes on this cute little backdrop here, which again I will be saving. So collectors, don't worry yourself. It looks very, very cute from here. Again, this looks so much more expansive than the other playset. I would have loved this. Looks like down here we had this nice little brick path with like a little patio thing there for furniture. Have the big, like long extent to this little castle at the top with a fillet in there. And down here you have another little patio area with the wheel. Then above that you have this pool with a little rainbow, and then a sort of little house mirror area. Oh my gosh, I probably haven't opened up a proper toy in so long, but see these things back here? If you're younger, tell me, do you guys' toys still have these zip ties in the back? Because seriously, these were the bane of my existence when I was little. Alright, that took 50 years to open, but finally here we are here. So mainly it comes mostly assembled. You have this part, and then you have this little mirror thing, then this wheel, and then this thing which attaches to the side, and then you have a little packet of accessories. Now, honestly, some of you are probably too young to even know what Neopets is, which is kind of sad to me, but hey, anyway, I guess to sort of give a rundown to anyone who doesn't know, it's again, kind of already explained it, but pretty much virtual pet website. You have your own pets, play games and stuff like that. It was pretty much just screamed of, 2000s and stuff, if, that sort of stuff could be put into form. And in my opinion, the best parts of it were the economy, which was surprisingly well put together with hundreds and thousands of different items and stuff. And then of course the pet customization, which we'll get into in a second. So I guess the major thing to say is that on Neopets there are 40 different pets which you can have and customize and stuff like that. Then there are also pets, which is this little guy in here, which are basically pets for your pets. Anyhow, this is just super cute. Again, to kind of give a better look of it, you have this thing down here, up here. Then you have this little Bruce here, Fairy Bruce, which is one of the pets of Neopets, and actually turns here. I believe this is supposed to be the Rainbow Pool, which is a location in Fairyland of Neopets. Again, this is of course based on Fairyland, which is one of the worlds in Neopets. So here it is all put together, very cool. Again, down here you have a little patio spot. Then over here you have the Wheel of Excitement, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, which is one of the sort of games you can play in Neopets. You'd basically spin it and get a different effect or prize or maybe some Neo points and stuff like that. Can't really focus in on it for some reason, camera. There it goes. You can see here, this is actually looks to be an actual copy from the game. These are all the different things you can win on here. You have 1,000 Neo points. You have that little skull, which is a disease, I believe. So that's pretty bad and all that. And interestingly, this actually functions, which is kind of cool. Would have loved that when I was little. You see this little spot up here, little heart, and if you tap it, it'll actually spin. So I guess if you wanted to, you could put a little Neopet here. Again, don't have the pet that comes here open, so I'll have to put the little Fairy Bruce here. But you could put him there and have him spin it. So it looks like the Fairy Bruce just won 500 Neo points. Good on you. So then moving up, you have this little cloud which sort of opens up in a clamshell design. It presses up like that and reveals this little mirror thing, a little house, and you can sort of see a shoebox there, which is interesting. Go ahead and close that before I leak my face or something. Then to the right, you have this little pool here, which again, I believe is the Rainbow Pool from Fairyland, which is a place you can go and get your pets cured of diseases and stuff. And above that, it has this little swinging platform, which will swing out if I can place it here 1 second. So this little platform just hooks in there, and you can have it over here if you want to, or you can have it going all the way out here, which is I think it's intended to do, as it seems to latch better like that. So that's pretty cool. And then over here again, the cloud thing, and then in the center you have this tiny little castle, which I believe you can close and then open up by pressing this button. That's pretty cool. And of course in the castle currently we have a little yellow Lele. I think that's its name at least, which is again one of the pets you can get for your Neopet. So you're going to have to go ahead and take him out here. So, oh my gosh, here he is. He's so cute and honestly doesn't have really any need to be this detailed. Try to focus in on him there, barely. Kind of see him there. He is very, very cute. Got some nice things on my finger there, but very cute. Have his little wings, his little tail. Just so cute. If you want to, you can have him sit in the little house here, and if I can get him in there, my hands are too big. Close that up, and boom. Or I guess if you also wanted to, you can have him sit up on this little cloud here, cute, or in the little pool. And the pool rotates, so you can rotate him around. Very cool. Now, of course, we also had this big thing of accessories, which unfortunately had to, in order to get this out, I had to rip open the box. But hey, so go ahead and get these out here. So first up, we have a fairy uni pet here. Again, one of the pets you can adopt on Neopets. I believe her little wings will stretch out. Yeah, they do. So very, very cool that that's an added thing. Very nicely detailed, very cute. I always love the fairy pets. They're just so adorable. Now, interestingly, she has a little peg on the bottom, and this little pool has a peg, so if you wanted to, you could attach her to there, and then spin it, and she will, of course, spin, just stuck on there. Or, as I like to do it better, you could just put back on the boring old, like, little cardboard cutout thing, which is what I did with my Mystery Island set when I was little. I never threw that away. Just thought it was kind of cool and added something to it. So, can't get it in there right now, but still very cool that that's an option. So again, as for pets, you have the fairy uni, and then you have the little fillet. I don't think that's a fairy fillet. I think they're always like that, winged. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, of course, you may just be confused, but Neopets, you can change their appearances and stuff. Besides putting on clothing, you can change their appearances with things called paintbrushes, which will make them different colors. This one is not a normal uni. This is a fairy uni, meaning it has the fairy paint on it. That's why it has fairy wings, of course. The little fillet, again, don't think that's a fairy fillet. I don't remember if the little pets, if that's fillet there, can actually be painted fairy. It may already just come with wings. I think that's the case. Down to accessories, they are all solid colors. And for the first, we have this little comb here. We'll focus on it, please. Please focus. No, doesn't want to, but kind of see it there. You have a little pinkish purple comb with a little flower on it. Fortunately, mine is a bit bent. May be able to fix that, but it's not broken or anything, so that's good. So you can kind of take that and brush your hair. Then we have a orange brush. I believe these are all actual Neopets items, but I can't place them. Very cool. So if you want to, you can go and brush your hair with it. Then we have a fairy doll. Again, does not want to seem to focus in on her, but I believe that's a fairy queen doll, which is an actual item based on the fairy queen of Neopets. Then you have a fairy, I think that's either fairy ice cream or a fairy snow cone, maybe. I don't know. I know that's an actual Neopets item. Then a fairy cupcake, which I believe the actual Neopets version is a pinkish color, which is interesting. May be wrong with that. Fairy popcorn, which this one I definitely know is the wrong color, so that's an interesting color choice there. This just generic clear bottle, nothing really interesting about it. Except if you look closely, you can sort of see there's a thing inside, but it's so just not, that I can't really see exactly. Then we have a nice little fairy table to put everything on. Like how they include so many accessories. Very cool. All in all, this is just something I've always wanted from when I was little, and it's going to make an excellent display piece next to my Mystery Island set. Again, camera does not want to seem to focus for some reason, but hey, we'll have to deal with it. Now I'm inserting this in from the end of the video, but interestingly I noticed I thought this was dirt all over it, which I had to clean, but interestingly it looks like these are not actually little specks of dirt. There's actually like little particles, or can't remember their name right now. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's just little sparkles all throughout, which is very interesting. They look sort of brown from far away, but if you really zoom in on them, they're actually very goldish color. So I think that's a very nice touch, and probably wasn't that cheap, and definitely unnecessary. So that's cool that they added that. Also kind of cool is that the rainbow on the top, besides obviously being a rainbow, also acts as a little carrying handle. So with that kind of over, there's also this little pack here, which I believe contains instructions and a code. Hopefully the code works. It's 100% unused, so going to actually redeem that on my Neopets account. Yeah, there it is. Let me block off the code. So there is the code card here. I think that will still work, which is a plus to not buying this used. Then there is instructions, and it's saying to remove this for play. Now, of course, back to the beginning of the video, we actually have 3 different unopened figure packs here, and these I'm really going to hurt the value of by opening, but hey, I don't want them to just sit here, so going to open them, which may hurt a few people. And these, honestly, some of these costed half the price of the set. Again, paid $30 for this whole thing. Meanwhile, I believe this one right here is the Fairy Walkie with the Mazu, I think, Mazu Pet. And again, some accessories. They're nicely detailed. I believe these are retailed at like $10. This I paid $12 for. It's a little bit beat up than the rest, which is why. Then we have the Fairy Bunny, which comes with, completely forget what that pet is, but Fairy Bunny, probably one of my favorite Neopets, along with the Fairy Walkie. This one, I believe I paid like $20 for. It's a lot rarer. So this thing legitimately costed more than half the price of this big thing over here. Then alongside that, we have the, believe that's an Akara, a striped Akara. So that's not a fairy Akara, actually. I don't think I see any wings. This is actually a striped Akara, which is a different color Neopet. So again, if you don't understand what I'm saying, you can paint your Neopets different colors, which are actually fairly expensive. This is a striped Akara. Then you also have a Baba Pet and some more accessories. This one I believe was $15, which was half the price of this big thing. You swing on over to the back. There is also a Fairy Scorchio with the snorkel. And if you go back, yeah, Fairy Ceremony. So that's an Anna, Fairy Walkie, Mazu, striped Akara, Baba. So I was right. So these were all kind of meant to go with the Fairyland playset. And yeah, these are 10 years old, 2008. So this is Series 1. Among this, there were also some mystery pets and figure sets to go with the Mystery Island playset. And then in the next series, there were some desert ones. No, these all happen to be from Series 1, but there were other fairy packs, but they are a whole lot more expensive. I guess we'll go ahead and decimate the cheapest one first. Alright, a bit kind of beat up, but I'm going to actually pause and do my best to take this out with not completely damaging it, because I do want to save the box. Okay, so got it out here, and don't yell at me, I did manage to preserve the box quite a bit. Just tape it on the top or something, and it looks fine. And this one's kind of beat up, kind of dusty, so not too sad about that one, but didn't break it or anything. Interestingly, the code for this is actually on the back of this little thing here. I'll cover up half of it here. Anyhow, it's going to be redeemed by the time I publish this, so I will let you guys know if these codes actually still worked. Here they are, and these are actually very high quality, which is something I found interesting. So, first of all, you have the Fairy Walkie here. Very nice. Again, this is probably one of my favorite pet colors. And a species, obviously. I think this is probably one of the cutest pets you can possibly have. Very cute. She has a nice little happy face with these wings. Sort of have a gross texture, actually, the wings do. They're sort of sticky and just all kinds of weird. This has never been opened, which is interesting for that at least. So kind of gross wings, but I have to let that pass. So again, not much to say. Very nice figure, and you can sit it up just like that. Now she looks perfect. Then on other terms, we had the Mazu here. This is just a normal Mazu. Sadly, this one actually has a couple paint scruffs on it. It's still very nice and highly detailed. Sadly, there are a few scruffs on it, which sucks. But very cute, very nicely detailed, and just generally adorable. Also has a peg on the bottom. As for accessories, we have this fairy book, which disappointingly is actually hollow in the bottom for some reason, but very nicely detailed to say the least. Then we have this fan. Very cute, actually painted on both sides as well, which is a plus. Okay, next up we have what is definitely the most expensive pack. First up, we have the Fairy Bunny. Again, another one of my just all-time favorite pets and colors. Very cute. I love the little pink on there and the blue. Just matches really well, and this one is so nicely detailed, just so adorable, just a cute little bunny here. Have the wings on the back, of course. These wings also, they're a bit nicer than the wings on the other one, but still just have a sort of stickiness and odd texture to them that's kind of gross. I guess it's just how they are, but again, on this one, the wings are actually rotatable to an extent, if you guys can see that there. So that's very cool. Then we have the Ona. pink and yellow. Don't like the yellow too much, if I'm being honest, but still very cute, nicely detailed, and just generally adorable. As for accessories, we have this little blue fairy lamp, which is interestingly bent a bit. I think it's supposed to be like that, but just looks a bit off. Still very nicely detailed, and the plastic is very high quality actually. Lastly, we have probably the most disappointing, this little picture frame, which is not much to say. It's just a fairy picture frame, but interestingly, it actually has a little prop on the back, so if you wanted to, you could actually stand it up. Very cool. Okay, as for the final pack, this is actually a bit better glued. This one is actually probably the best condition. Besides some dust, this is pretty nice. It's going to be a pain to open it and going to hurt to open it, but hey, here's it open. And honestly, the first thing is the Akara toy. I've never been a fan of how Neopets, and I believe this was, don't know who made these actually. I think it was Jack Specific who made these. Never been a fan of how they did the Akara toys, because I believe there was like a few others, but if you look, the front feet on this mold were kind of blocky for some reason, but nevertheless, very cute. I love her little tentacle things on the top and detailed all around, made in China. But very, very cute. Just look how confident she is. Then we got the Baba. This is actually probably the most detailed figure on here, which is sort of interesting. The paint on it is almost pristine, and then the wool is actually so textured for some reason, which is kind of unnecessary, but very cool, very nicely done. Little sheep. Then we have this cake here. I don't know if this is an existing Neopets item. I assume it would be. Still very cool. And then beyond that, we have this little slushie, which is actually very nice. Like a very nice accessory. If it wants to focus in on it, you can kind of see that right there. It's actually clear and sort of has a orange little slushy inside, which is actually adds some sort of depth. Again, cannot get it to focus on it because it's so tiny, but you just have to trust me from what you can see. So with all the accessories sort of thrown up there, it looks something like this. And honestly, this total was probably about 30, 40, 50. So this is probably about $80 something, maybe $90 total, which, hey, was it worth it? I don't know, but going to look very cool on my shelf, so I'll just add that to it. So again, recording this post-edit, I actually found out that the top on the playset will actually spin, which is very, very cool, if you guys can see that. The top can go 360 all around, which is actually sort of sweet. You can see the back here. For some reason you wanted to make it backwards, you could.